Hi everyone, my name is Gary.
I'm Steve.
And today we're going to cover a tip that has been our most popular tip for a very long time on our website, and it's about creating your own desktop wallpaper.
Right, at one time or another, you're going to go out with your digital camera, you're going to take some kind of photo, and you're going to be like, wow, that would be great, I got to have that on my desktop, but how do I do it?
And you know, there's a couple different ways that it can be done. So Steve's going to cover 3 different ways today on the computer. So we're going to go ahead and turn over and go from there.
All right, let's take a look. Okay, here we are at our Windows 7 computer. As you can see, we have the boring old Windows flag desktop background that comes with Windows. Not very exciting at all. We'd like to put a photo in there of our very own so that it's all personalized and looks real cool. And pretty much anything would be better than what we're looking at now, right? Okay, first thing we need to do is we need to determine our screen resolution. Here's the reason we need to do that. We need to figure out exactly what size photo is going to fit on here right. Now, in order to do that in Windows 7, it's pretty easy. We right-click and we hit Screen Resolution from the resulting menu, and we look right here where it says, oddly enough, Resolution. On this screen, it is 1600 by 900. Your mileage probably will vary on this. You may have any number of different resolutions, but the important thing is that you take this number, either memorize it or write it down, because that's the size that we want to make the photograph. Any smaller than that, and the computer is going to have to stretch the photo to make it fit on the monitor. If it's larger than that, the computer is going to have to shrink it down. And if it's displaying that kind of a photo, it's also going to probably need a little bit more memory. So we want to optimize our photograph. We want to make it whatever size the computer says we should have here, which in this case is 1600 by 900. If you have a Windows XP computer, you're going to want to right-click the desktop, hit Properties, and then click Settings from the resulting menu, and that will give you the same information. I'm just going to hit OK, get out of there, and we're going to go over to Photoshop. Now, the reason we're using Photoshop on this is because Photoshop tends to be the gold standard by which all other photo programs not only are judged, but are based off of. So a lot of the commands that you find in Photoshop are going to be the same that you find in other programs that do photo manipulation. So we're going to use Photoshop because it's probably the easiest way to give you the examples that we're going to need to do here. So we know we need to be 1600 by 900. Let's try this method first. We have 3 different ways we're going to do this. The first method is just to go to image size. Let's see here. Our width is currently 6048. We need that to be 1600. So let's put 1600 in. And we have constrained proportions checked right down here. And that means that whatever we put in the width box, the height box is going to give us a corresponding proportional height. So that if anything we put in here, this is going to automatically change so that the image stays proportional. We're not stretching it out, we're not squishing the image. But as you can see, we have a little bit of a problem already. 1600 is fine width-wise, but height-wise, we're at 1067. What's going on here? The problem is that you have all different types of monitors floating around out there, and they're all different resolutions. Some are square, some are widescreen, some are someplace in the middle. The big problem is that your photograph probably isn't proportional to this, and you end up running into this little snag right here. You put your width in and your height ends up being wrong. Now there's 3 different ways to handle this. And pretty much that's what this whole video is about. The first way is the down and dirty way. You just take your constraint proportions box, uncheck it, and say 900. Now this is going to reduce this in size to 1600 by 900, exactly what we need for our desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, but watch what happens to the image. Ooh, did you see that? I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer so you can see a little better. It's all stretched out. Now in this particular landscape photograph, maybe you could live with that. It doesn't look horribly bad. I personally don't like it very much myself. If there were people in it, they would absolutely hate it because it would have stretched them out and it would look like they were having a few too many fries at the old McDonald's. So we don't want to do this. Like I say, it's up to you, of course. If you like it, it looks good, go ahead and go with it. Personally, I'm not a real big fan. But that's method 1. Now method 2 is a little bit different. In this method, we're going to open this again. But this time, we're going to crop. Now with Photoshop, this is real handy. We hit the crop tool, and we put the width in and the height in that we want the image to end up at. So I'm going to put 1600, and I'm going to put px next to it. That's for pixels. And next to it, 900. Again, px for pixels. And now we can crop. I'm going to drag this down. And there you go. And you can see our little crop tool go into work here. Now here's the deal though. If you notice, I'm going to lose this top edge right here, and I'm going to lose the bottom edge right here. But you know what? We go ahead and hit enter, and we bring this back up. And now we have a 1600 by 900 image that is not stretched out anymore. We've lost the top and we've lost the bottom, but you know what? This works. I would almost be able to, this isn't bad. You could probably set this as your desktop background and be pretty happy with it. However, there's still another method. So we're going to go ahead and close this out and show you the third and final method that we have. This is my favorite. We're going to open that JPEG again. And this time we're going to keep everything and still be 1600 by 900. How do we do this? It's a little trick. First, make sure your colors are set at default. Double click this little box and then make sure black is your background. I know it sounds kind of strange because we're about to crop, but you'll see what happens. Here's the crop tool. We have that selected. And I'm going to go ahead and select. Again, this looks just like the last one. Looks like we're about to crop. But now we're going to stretch the crop to go outside of the photograph. You see how we're doing that? And we're just going to go to the top and bottoms here. And I'm going to move this crop back and forth a little bit so that it's all nice and centered up. I'm going to hit my enter key. And because we had our background set at black, now we have a black background on either side of this where it filled in, but we notice we haven't lost a single pixel in our regular image. It's not been manipulated, it hasn't been stretched out, it hasn't been squished. We haven't lost anything. It looks gorgeous. That's the photograph that we took. So that's the way I like it. When I'm out shooting a photograph, I'm composing it in the camera. I know what I want. I don't want to come back and crop it and mess with it. This is exactly what I want. So now the next step here, we're going to go ahead and use this one, but I always like to do a little bit of sharpening afterwards. Whenever you reduce an image in size, you lose a little bit of sharpness. So you can do this a couple of ways. For right now, you can use your unsharp mask if you like. I usually just do a quick sharpen edges, and that's usually pretty adequate. So that's about it. There you go. The next step is to go ahead and save this. So let's go File, Save As, and in this case I am going to put this in my Pictures folder. And I'm going to do a new folder. Click this little icon up here. I'm going to call it Wallpaper. I'm going to open the folder. This way if I do other wallpaper, I know exactly where it is. It's called DV right now for Death Valley. This is Zabriskie Point at Death Valley. I'm going to put dash wallpaper. And that's where I'm going to save it. Now I get some JPEG options that come up. I usually hit about 10. Less than that, you can start seeing a little quality degradation. More than that, probably unnecessary. This is a good compromise. Just shy of being a large file over here. So if you're using a different imaging program, you'll want to consider, just be in about the same spot. Hit OK. And that's it. Let's minimize this and do the final step, which is setting this as our desktop background. Since this is my picture folder, I happen to have a link right here on my Start menu. I go to Pictures. There's a wallpaper folder we made. Just right click and set as desktop background. This works in XP, in Vista, and in Windows 7. Just right click, set as desktop background, and look at that. There is our photograph all set and done, just like we wanted it. You get this nice black border on either side of it, so it looks real slick, real professional, and there you go.
So there you have it. Pretty simple steps to make a desktop background for your computer. I think that a lot of people get a lot of help from this, and like we said, it's our most popular tip, so we really hope you enjoy it.
And we hope you enjoy all these videos. If this is your first time watching one of our videos, we invite you to sign up for our Computer Tips newsletter. You'll always be alerted when we have a new video to show you. Make sure you check out our Facebook page and check out all of our videos on our various tips and on our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions for us, we want to hear from you. Go to worldstart.com/ask. We'll put the address right there so you can write that down or just jump over there right now.